Part 3 with Mrs. Bibb. For this project, you're going to get to choose your color scheme for your portrait. You could work black and white, or monochromatic, or full saturation. You really get to decide. So right now, I'm just playing with my photo in Photoshop to kind of experiment with some of my different color options to see how it might look. You have the option of taking a picture of your reference photo with your cell phone and kind of manipulating with your editing tools on your phone if you like. But this can come entirely from your imagination. It's up to you. So here's what this would look like monochromatic, which is one color with a variety of tints, tones, and shades. So you could be blue like an avatar if you wanted. But I've decided that I'm going to do monochromatic pinkish purple for part of my piece, and then an overly saturated full color option for the other part of my piece. But you're welcome to use black and white if you prefer. So I printed out an oversaturated version of myself, and I'm starting to come in with colored pencils. The more colors you have, the more difficult it's going to be, but don't fear, everything's going to turn out great. So the key with colored pencils is use nice sharp pointy pencils, stop frequently to sharpen. And I'm working with a little piece of paper under my hand to protect the drawing. I don't want to be smudging all over the place. And when you start doing things like skin tones, don't just grab peach, because that's not a realistic representation of your skin. I'm actually coming in with different shades of pinks and oranges for the majority of my skin tones. And I'm really looking for things like, where is the light source hitting? Where are those highlights? How am I going to make my face look full and not flat? Flat is the enemy. Full is our friend. So I want my nose to look like it's coming forward off my face. So I'm going to concentrate on that highlight kind of on the ball of my nose and the shadows underneath around the nostrils. I need to know that my nose comes forward and then tucks back under. And again, around my eyes. I want my eyes to feel like they're sitting back in my head. Again, I'm even coming in with some really dark pinks, oranges, and reds in these shadowy areas. So notice I'm adding a lot of color to the skin in the face, around the eyelid and the eyebrow before I draw on those individual eyelashes and eyebrow hairs. We want to put the skin down first because you don't want white showing through in between all the little hairs. And don't be afraid of contrast. Contrast is a good thing. We want dark darks and light lights. Now notice I am stopping the shading on that line. That line is the outline of my heart that I drew on my face. So I'm only doing this color scheme within the heart shape. So I'm trying to be really careful that I stop at that line. Again, a forehead is another thing that we want to look round and voluminous. We don't want it to feel flat. So I'm leaving those highlights kind of in the space over the eyebrows, and there's a little bit in that top corner of my forehead has a bit of a shine, and darkening up quite a bit as it moves towards the hair. And I'm really enjoying getting to play with some of these different colors. I'm putting a lot of hot pinks and blues around the edge of the hairline. So I'm continuing by adding more shadows around that nose area. Again, your goal is to make the nose stand out from the face. And your highlight areas like the tip of your nose, the apples of your cheeks to really come forward. Again, take your time, nice sharp pencils, nice thin light layers. You can come back and do a little cross hatching to smooth it out. Again, we want to add that shadow around the bottom of the chin. We don't want your chin to blend in with your neck. So I'm really playing with the color and coming in and just making this look vibrant. We don't want the lips to look flat, so we've got the highlight. Again, shadows towards the corners of the mouth. And again, your teeth are not going to stay bright white. We don't want them to look glow in the dark. Alright, so I'm starting to add some color and detail into the hair. I'm taking some creative license here and really just popping up that color by adding bright reds, pinks, and orange into the hair. And again, we're following the direction the hair is growing. So that hair at the top has kind of a nice swoop back into a clip. So I'm leaving a nice shiny highlight. And I'm starting to come in with black just to add more contrast. I do have dark hair. I really want it dark between my neck and my hair. I want it to feel like you could reach out and slide your hand around my neck if you wanted to. Alright, so I've decided to do all of the writing in pencil. And I'm going to use a mechanical pencil so it stays nice and sharp. But it's up to you. You can use any colors you want for your quote. We just want it to stay super legible. A nice, crisp, clean edges. Use a sharp pencil. I've had students in the past do their quote in Sharpie, and that also looks nice, but it tends to stand out really dramatically. So it's up to you, but I think regular pencil or colored pencil looks better. And I'm making a decision not to shade very much behind the quote, just again to help it stand out. And this is also strategic. I don't want to smudge all that graphite. So again, take your time, come a few different directions to build up layers. And I'm taking a tissue over my finger to just help smooth everything out. And I can do whatever color I want on the outside, so I just decided to go for contrast, do a nice pretty blue. Again, we see blue tones in my hair and eyes, so I think it's nice to repeat this color. Alright, so now I'm moving forward to the monochromatic section of my face. And in this instance, I'm working with kind of a bright pink and just starting to look for highlights and shadows. Again, we want this to feel as three-dimensional as possible. And follow the direction of the hair. Leaving a little highlight at the top, nice shine. Again, we want this to feel voluminous and just following the direction of the hair as it grows. Now I am pushing pretty hard with this colored pencil, but I don't need to. Even if it's dark, just build up your layers. And I'm going to come back in after a little blending and add black on top, just to add to the contrast and make all of that look smoother. Coming into the neck, again, it's very important that your chin and your neck are separate, and not just from a hard line, but because of shadowing and shading. You shouldn't feel like a cartoon character. You should feel like you're realistically shaded with the light source. Just adding some shirt value. Again, I'm using a little piece of paper under my hand to help keep the rest of my portrait clean. And I don't want to look like a flat person, so I'm adding some fold details from where the arm of my shirt kind of reaches the main part of my sweater, adding some realistic folds. And I could continue the pink behind my head, but I'm coming back to that blue. I think it looks nice to carry it through the piece. And you get to make these artistic decisions. Coming back with a tissue just to blend out a little more, make everything smoother. Now I could stop here if I wanted to, it looks fine, but I want to come back in with black and just really add contrast. So I'm going to layer into some of those shadowy parts, especially in the hair. With black, a little goes a long way. This will just help everything look a little more dynamic. After adding final details, here's the end result. Now you try.